What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about 4 different crypto miners today. We're going to talk about Riot for Tigger, Marathon for Tigger, GRYP, and CIFR for Jonas the Brother. We got Tigger and Jonas up in the house today. Hit that like button, subscribe to see more from me. Thank you all for being here. Riot is sitting at about $10.50. Had a positive week last week, up 8.3%. It might come down, being that crypto's gone down over the weekend. It might come down next week, but I think that we might see a phase where, prior to this, we saw miners going down as crypto was going up. We might see miners going up as cryptos are going down. We very well could see that. It's been some time after the halving. It's not been a lot of time, but it's been some time. Things have adjusted. That whole kind of scare or wonder or uncertainty has gone away. You've held key areas. I would assume you're working your way up higher for Riot. If not, potentially you do work your way back down to your 236 at about $7. That is still on the table. But if you can get above, what is that, $10, $11. If you can get above $11.02 this next week and close above there, or any week following, right? When you get above this area here, this yellow line, that to me solidifies this as your low. Right, you reached for your 236, but you couldn't get there, which is actually a bullish look. So weekly RSI is relatively neutral, not really giving us anything, but it is at an area that you've held support before, back here, right, and even back here. If I put a straight line on there, let's just see, like right there, right, delete this, delete that. You can see that you've found support in this area, a couple times here and there, right, going back in time here, right here. Resistance even in this area, so it's not common, but it can happen. You're at 36, so close above 1102, and I think you will be moving higher. Where will you move up to? Probably 2360 to 2930, something like that. Over the weeks, over the months to come. It could take less than 2 months to happen, but it might take about that too. So over the summer, I think Riot's going to work its way up, but. Again, that's assuming that you don't necessarily reject this area. Let's see how next week goes, right? We'll talk about it as the week goes, but I wouldn't be surprised, especially with the drop over the weekend, I wouldn't be surprised if we open up down to start the week, but then work our way back up the rest of the week. Let's see if we can't close above this 382. That'd be really nice to see. So that's the goal for next week. This next week, any week until we close above the 382, that's the goal. When you do that, that solidifies this as your low. Until then, the opportunity to go down there does still remain. And even afterwards, of course, anything can happen, right? Anything can happen, but this is just the general idea. So hopefully, Riot, I would expect tomorrow and the following days maybe you work your way down to about, just roughly eyeballing it, about $9.40, $9.60, somewhere in this area, and then you work your way up the rest of the week. That's my thoughts. So that's Riot. Let's talk about Marathon. Not USD. I did that. I already did that. Let's see. Neutral with a bullish posturing on the RSI. Weekly RSI is basically the same thing, actually. Relative high here to the relative low. I think you're going to move up higher, yeah. I think you are. You're looking productive. You're looking constructive. I think you want to move higher. If you move lower, I don't believe you're going to move below $17.70. I don't believe that. You're at 1947 now. You could, again, with the weekend being red for most cryptos, you could open up this week down, but I think you'll spend the rest of the week working your way up. It'll look like you're breaking this, but really what you're doing is you're probably going to conform to this kind of trend here, so perhaps you work your way up to the top. We'll see you at about 2630. Maybe not this week, but over the coming weeks. If not this week, it could happen, but 2130 is your next, 2630 is your next target area. I don't believe you'll go lower than 1770, but I do believe you'll go down. Let's just assume that tomorrow you open up at 1850, thereabouts, give or take 10 cents either direction, something like that. A higher low nonetheless, and work your way up. You might not even go down. It is possible that you might not. Marathon has been one of the ones that's been a little bit more resilient lately. That and IREN has been, and CleanSpark have been resilient, but that's Marathon. Best of my abilities, I think, regardless of when you move up, I do think your next target area is about $26.20, $26.30, something like that. That's Marathon. GRYP is the next one. Griffin. It's Griffin. Griffin Digital Mining. I don't know why I said Griffion. It's just Griff, and there's no Griffy. Well, you have a hell of a track record, don't you? Wow. That's all I got to say is wow. That is a lot of downside. Now, just because you've been up here before does not mean that you'll go up there again. That's not what that means. I don't think that you will. Ever again, I don't think that you will. But you're at $1.30, sure. I mean, the potential to go up to the tens, 100, multiple hundreds even, it still remains, I suppose. Even up to 1,000, maybe. I doubt it. With a chart like this, I don't expect humongous moves like that. Not on stocks, but it's a lot of volume. It is a lot of volume. Down in your lowest kind of consolidation phase you've seen before. Weekly RSI is showing bullish divergence. Let's look at this high to this low and assume you're making a move. You're at $1.30. We'll see you at $2.64 over the coming weeks. Your immediate target is $1.92, but I do think $2.64 is the area to watch. I would expect you find resistance in that area. In that area means, of course, you could go a little bit past it. So $2.64 in that area could mean $3 or $2.80, right? It could mean $2.50. In this area, around this yellow line, if not right at it, you'll probably find resistance, work your way back down to $1.90 or so, and then maybe, just maybe, we can talk about you going up. But for now, this chart looks, I don't like it. I tend to stay away from things like this. You want to avoid losing money in investing, especially when it comes to the long term, right? Because we're talking about investing, not just trading. Trading too, but investing. Avoid charts that look like this. Sometimes charts that look like this can be good for trading, right? You've had months where you moved up 80%, you moved up 80% again. That, you know, like you have moments where you grow. There's opportunity even in charts like this, but for a long-term hold, it's been nothing but terrible, and I don't expect it to do anything different. Even if you get some kind of miraculous move where you go all the way up to your $170 area, you know, it's just going to be boring, a big old nothingness. Even if you don't see new lows from where you are now, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, it's still just a big disappointment. It makes me not want to put my money in for the long term. Now, for the short term, however, that can be different. I do think you look like you want to move up in the relative short term. You are at $1.30. I don't think that you go below this low here. Daily RSI looks somewhat productive, so I like that bounce off the oversold zone. But you know, you've got some ways to go before you move up higher. Again, you know, let's look at that more immediate $1.90, $1.92 area, and then we could talk about what was it. What was the price? Can't remember. Was it on the weekly that we were looking at? Perhaps it was. $1.92 is your more immediate target. Next target after that is $2.64. Yeah. GRYP. Cypher is our last one. Cypher mining here with a very bullish candle, not quite a breakout candle. A lot of volume broke out. I mean, didn't break out, but you broke out of this little bit here, but you didn't break out of your zone yet. You look like you want to. However, you could find resistance here, as you have time and time again since July of last year. You could come back down to like $4. You're at $4.95, so you could see that. But you're fast approaching the point where you're going to break out of this here. If we take this all-time high to the all-time low and we base the fibs off that there, you break out of your golden ratio zone like you're doing. You're holding the 618 beautiful golden ratio support. Your next target would be $6.98 to $10.10. You're at $4.95 now, so maybe you do move down to $4. Maybe you move to $4.50, just a little bit lower than you are now, and then up to at least $7, if not $10. In a very short, I think that's going to happen in a very short amount of time. It could happen before August. Maybe it happens before July. I don't know. You know, with a breakout move, it tends to happen pretty swiftly. But even on a move that looks like it's just moving up straight from a low point to a high point, that took over a month right there. So it can take over a month to get to these areas. But inevitably higher, yes. It just depends on what we do this week, I suppose. Overbought on your daily, close above your 6.9. I don't know, man. I like it. I like the way this looks. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be totally thrown off if it did move down from here relatively immediately, right? You're at 495. Perhaps it does move back down to 430, even down to, I don't think it'll go below $4 personally. But 430, 420, 470, somewhere anywhere between there, might find support there, move back up. I'd be surprised if you worked your way back down here, is all I'm saying. I think that you would hold some kind of higher low, come on now. Come on now, there we go. Some kind of higher low and then move up relatively immediately. So if not, if you don't move up immediately, maybe we are consolidating still for a little bit longer and then it'll be weeks later. But I think you're fast approaching prices that will take you above $7 over the coming weeks. That's my thoughts on C-Zar. So if you guys like the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more. I suppose out of all three of these, the one that looks the most bullish to me in the shortest amount of time would be this one, C-Zar. That to me does look the most bullish. It's not the most bullish out of all the mining stocks. It could be, but it does look pretty good. So that's all I got. Hit that like button, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.